Right, guys, we will try again. We are back, ladies in red, second time around. We're going to give it a go. It seems a lot better anyway. Let us know in the chat if there's anything wrong with the audio. Fingers crossed it's all okay and working. I'll start again. I'll start with you, Meg. Firstly, how are you doing? And of course, it's always good to see you on the show.
Thank you. I must have broke the internet. That's what they call it nowadays, isn't it? I broke the internet, new ahead, and that was it. I messed up first time round. So, but no, I am all good. I hope everyone else is okay. How are you, Sophie?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm tired from work. Like I said off stream, I felt like we should be at Friday already, but unfortunately we're not. But I'm good. That United family said tech issues. There are. I'm still in a crack in there, and I don't know what it is. But we'll still keep messing with it, guys, and try and find out what it is. Emma, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad. Like I said, I've got an inset day on Friday, so tomorrow is my last day at work, so I'm buzzing.
Love that. Nice little long weekend. Always good. Always good. Unfortunately, no Man United to watch this weekend, which is a bit rubbish, I suppose. But we're going to talk about him anyway. Pogba is the topic that we're going to be discussing first. I'm going to leave it there, Meg. Paul Pogba, discuss.
Look, I don't think we're getting the best out of him at Manchester United, but that's a question. That's a question in itself. Why are we not getting the best out of him? If we sell him, that could come back and haunt us. Somebody else can go and get the best out of him. Take away this whole characteristics and the virus of the club. I believe in that. For me, he's a World Cup winner and he's a baller. He's so talented. People can talk to me until they're blue in the face about Pogba. He is an absolute baller. He is so talented, and I just think if we were to get the best out of him, we'd be up there. 100%, we would be up there.
I think it is about that, definitely. It's about getting the best out of our players. Paul Pogba, for me, is such a frustrating player because we know the potential, we know how good of a player he is. Like you say, Meg, his experience, he's won the World Cup. He's the kind of player that you want in your squad. As a Manchester United player, you want to be playing alongside players like that. But the question is, how do we get the best out of him? I mean, he's been at the club now for a while, and we haven't got the best out of him. And it makes you think, is it best for both parties? If he moves on, is it best for us because we get a bit of cash? Or is it best for him, obviously, because he gets more playing time? Because at the moment, Ollie doesn't know where to fit him in. I don't know where he fits in best. Emma, what's your thoughts on Paul Pogba?
Do you know what? I absolutely love Paul Pogba, but he's just so inconsistent. He really is inconsistent. You know, one day we can have Paul Pogba on his game. He's an absolute baller, like Meg said. And then another game, he just looks like he just can't be bothered, like he doesn't even want to be on the pitch. I did, try and fight his corner. I think, is it because he probably fits Serie A a little bit better than the Premier League? Is the Premier League too fast-paced for him? Because, he likes to take 2 or 3, 4 touches on the ball, where we like to be like 1, 2, go. So maybe I'm trying to stick up from there. Maybe he just prefers the Serie A league, and then instead of the Premier League, maybe that's it. But for me, I've been liking seeing Pogba come on from off the bench. He makes more of an impact when he comes off the bench. It's like he's actually wanting to try. He wants to put the effort in. Whereas where he starts, it's like he thinks he's got his place. He doesn't need to try anymore. So he sometimes has that half-ass attitude. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going to happen because obviously his French manager has come out and said, surely Pogba can't be happy with the situation. I'm just waiting for Pogba to come out and say something now, because he normally does when he's with the French team.
It's one of them, isn't it? Like Pogba, we know that when the news is slow, international break, there's not a lot to talk about. What sells papers, what sells news stories, Manchester United, Paul Pogba. He always is in the headlines. But I've said this many times regarding Pogba. I like him as a player, but I don't like the circus and the drama that comes with him. I mean, Meg, in all honesty, if he did sell Paul Pogba, do you think that we'd miss him? Because at this moment in time, a lot of people would argue that we play better football than Pogba is in the side.
I think we would. I think we would miss somebody like him, and I think we'd miss the character in the dressing room as well. I think that's huge. People, they say that he's not good. He's not a good person to be around because he's a virus. I've seen pictures of him and videos of him from the World Cup changing room. And if he's like that in the dressing room, then that's the person that you need in there. You've seen him deliver a speech just before the World Cup final. Massive game. And I was ready to go out there for the World Cup final. But I do get people, saying that they don't like him as a person and whatnot. Fair enough. But when we sold Herrera, and I still feel like we miss that Herrera position massively. We miss a player like him. And I do feel like if we'd sell him, we would eventually miss him. I know we've got other talented players at the moment, but I do feel like he can change a game like that. Like there are times, and there are many games that we have. Oh, he's been so influential in turning the game into positive for Manchester United. I think we would miss him massively.
I think the thing with Paul Pogba, like you say, he's such an influential player, and he is a game changer. And in particular, obviously, that City game when he had a worldie of a performance, especially in the second half, and turned it around. Yeah, but other than that, would you say that Pogba's had that many game-changing performances in a Manchester United shirt? You'd say no. There is the argument that he hasn't had the quality of players around him, and of course, I fully agree with that as well. He can't do it on his own. But for me, it's about, as a club, like, are we the right place for him? Do we want to get, like, not do we want to get, of course we want to get the best out of him, but do we know how to? France obviously do know how to, and he fits into their system perfectly. Paul Pogba isn't going to be one of sitting on the bench all the time, isn't he? He's not that kind of player. He's too good of a player to do that. So the question is he going to be happy to sit there as well? And we don't want an unhappy player either. So I think it's one of them where it kind of feels inevitable that he's going to be at the door. Do I feel like he's been treated fairly in his time at United? No, I do not. I feel like he's been penalised, he's been punished because of his ego, because of his price, and that's not fair. But at the same time, you have to be honest and say, has he fulfilled his potential? Has he been good enough? And so far, you'd say no. But of course, I'm sitting here and hoping that he turns it around. I'm hoping that he fights for his place, he finds a spot in the starting lineup, and he proves to everybody the player that we all know they can be. But at this moment in time, it's just not looking good, is it? Emma, what do you think about Paul Pogba? Do you think that he has been good enough for Manchester United, in all honesty?
I mean, all round, I don't think he's been brilliant. He's not the player that that we know that he is. He is a world-class player, and I think he probably just needs that quality around him. I sometimes think that's the way Paul Pogba likes to play, when he has quality around him. But I just don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's given us all his best like he does with the France team. When he plays for France, he's absolutely outstanding. So it makes you think it must be something at Manchester United that he just doesn't want to play well. I thought when Bruno came in, it kind of gave him a little bit of a lift. But now suddenly, I don't know, it's kind of because he's not the main man. Like Bruno has become the main man at Manchester United. It's like, I don't know if he's just feeling a little bit pushed out, especially when he's been dropped a few times. I don't know what the situation, but then obviously he has had coronavirus. He hasn't had the best start. Ollie has admitted that he shouldn't have started Pogba, too soon after coming back from the coronavirus. So he does have those factors on his side, that his fitness levels wasn't up to par. So I don't know. It's hard to judge, since coming back from the season.
I agree, and I mentioned he's been treated unfairly. Dan James obviously lost his dad. It was a traumatic time. He had a lot of support. Paul Pogba lost his dad, and a lot of people kind of forgot about that, didn't they? Like, of course, you should always support your players, and like I say, he hasn't been good enough. But do I agree with I'm going to say the abuse, not the criticism, because I think that's fair, but the abuse, no, I do not. But obviously, Paul Pogba, quality player, but you also look at Van der Beek. We signed him. Obviously, a lot of people questioned where he was going to fit in. At the moment, he's been sat on the bench. And if you're Van der Beek, surely, Meg, you're scratching your head thinking, why did I join this club? Why have I come here? I would rather be back in Ajax right now in this moment in time.
Yeah, my final point on Pogba, by the way, is I don't want to end up like Arsenal when you've got Ozil sitting on, he's not even sitting on the bench now, is he? He's sitting at home, earning that much money and not utilising him. That's what I will say, because I don't want to be that club. My final point on Pogba is that I personally would want to get the best out of him before him going anywhere else. But yeah, don't want to end up like with an Ozil, which at the moment we're looking like we are with Van der Beek, because he's sat on the bench. He is doing something when he comes on, but he's hardly played. And I get that we're trying to, test the water with him at points, but he must be sitting there thinking, when is my opportunity? If you don't give it to me, when do I take it? So, thank you, by the way. But yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it, when you play that three in the midfield and to have that many good players. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a difficult headache to try and fit them all in and give them all the time that they probably deserve. But at times you need to rotate it, and I think Van der Beek should come on a bit more, or at least start and give him more time to actually make a difference.
Yep, I agree. And Pure Wolverine, you're spot on with that comment. I completely agree. I think we constantly have that though at the club, unfortunately. You look at Mata, he's been forced out wide a lot of the time. We all know that he's best in a number 10. He's an intelligent player, Mata, of course, but he tends to do that. Like, we sign players that we all know that we wanted the right wing. We know that we wanted Sancho in the summer. We ended up with Van der Beek, and don't get me wrong, Van der Beek is a great player, and I really like the signing. But at the same time, you're scratching your head thinking, was that a priority? And we said it at the time, was that a priority? We all knew it wasn't. We were hoping that we would get other players in that we wanted, as well as Van der Beek. That didn't happen. So you have to scratch your head and think, why did we sign him? But Van der Beek, I think, is a great player. He seems to have the right attitude, and I'm sure he will break into the team at some point. But will it be when Pogba leaves? Does that open up a gap? Who knows? It's an interesting one. Another player that I wanted to touch on as well is Greenwood. We've talked about the negativity towards Paul Pogba. It seems like, well, we knew it was going to happen. The second Greenwood got himself into some negative publicity, he's got a target on his back now, and it seems like he's being a target again. A lot of negativity around him. Obviously, he lost his friend, didn't he? Who played for Manchester City youth. He got released. He lost his friend. Not many people knew that. He liked to post, I believe, the other day saying that people haven't understood that he lost a friend quite close to him and he's struggling with that. Meg, does it go back to the point that we constantly make on here? And I'll ask you first, Emma, on this one. Does it constantly come back to the point that footballers are human as well, and people don't realise that? We know Greenwood is talented, but people kind of don't focus on the fact that he's a human. They judge him and criticise him and get on his back when actually he's still a youngster, isn't he?
No, I agree with you. I think, the media as well has caused this massive storm for Greenwood. I feel for the lad. He's 19 years old. He's got the whole media like on his back. Everything that he does, he's criticised. Athletic have come out and said that Manchester United are not happy with his outside activities. That he's, lack of concentration. Coming into training tired, and then the Times reporting that Bruno and Greenwood had like a little bust up. I don't think it was a bust up. Basically, it was just Bruno being a senior player saying to a young player, look, come on, put the effort in. You got to do better than this. I think that's what it was, and I think everyone is just blowing everything out of proportion, and it's gonna get on his back. His mental health is going to be affected by this. Like you said, so people forget that footballers are human. They do have feelings, and they do have a personal life that they are going through. And not to mention like what is going on in the world as well. With the coronavirus, it's going to have a massive effect on him, and I do feel bad for him.
I completely agree. I think Greenwood is a kid, a very talented kid at that. But we know what happens. Young English press straight immediately on their back. But Meg, what's your thoughts on Mason Greenwood? Do you think that all this will blow over? He'll come out the other side. Do you think he's truly good enough and talented enough to get through it on his ability? Or do you think that that's kind of his card marked? It's sad to say that, but do you think his card is marked now by the press?
I hope it isn't. I hope I feel like the press go through certain phases with certain players. They're trying, he's a hot topic, isn't he, at the moment, because of what happened because it probably all started. He was a hot topic because he came out of the blocks raring to go in Project Restart, and he was just this sensational talent. And then they want to find a bit of dirt, don't they? Everybody wants to have a bit of dirt on somebody. And he didn't help himself with that. That's fair enough to say. But because he's such a hot topic and in the attention of everybody, that blows up. Now, if that had been somebody else, do I think it would have been that critiqued in the media? No, I don't. And then they just don't let things go, do they? It's constantly being referred back to. We talk about the England squad and he's not in it. Oh, but what he did before that. Well, yeah, we know what he did before that. He self-isolated. He took his punishment, He got dropped from the team. There we go, done and dusted. But we're still referring to it. And I think that's the issue with the media, is that they don't let things go. It's constantly, but he did this, but he did this. Greenwood, oh, the one that did, that happened, the things that happened in Iceland, it's constantly being referred to. And I do find it disheartening for him. Do I think he'll come out the other side? Yes, definitely. And I hope that Manchester United support him through this time. I believe we will. But yeah, I feel sorry for him, if I'm honest.
I completely agree with you. I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I do think he's good enough to pull through it. I do think he'll come out the other side. I do think he's a star talent, and we said it all along. Don't get overhyped on him. He's English, he's young, still a lot to come from him, but it's hard not to when you see how special of a talent he is. Marco Gianni, thank you so much for the super chat. He says Van der Beek should play more, but I think it's just a question of lack of trust. Ollie knows that Fred and McSauce will put in 100% until the whistle. Yeah, it is a trust thing. I do think it's also Ollie is still trying to find his best team. He's still trying to find his best lineup. We've seen so many different variations, haven't we? So many different systems, and I do think he's still searching. Meg, Van der Beek, do you think, like, obviously we've got West Brom first game. Would you start him, in all honesty, in that game? Because obviously we know West Brom is going to be a tough game. We're going to have a majority of the ball. Do you think we need more technical players on there like Van der Beek?
I think you need players that will. I think West Brom will sit back. They know Manchester United are known to prefer to play on the counter rather than. Although we have done it at times better this season to break teams down, I would probably play him. I feel like he could be someone that can unlock defences, find those passes. Like a Mata type, but obviously not the same position. Because I always think Mata is the one to be able to unlock defences. Bruno very similar as well. So he could be potentially someone that starts to try and counteract the fact that there's 10 men 11 players perhaps behind the ball.
Yep, I agree with that. Someone said there, against West Brom, we need to start Fred, Bruno and Van der Beek. Emma, if you saw that midfield, would you be happy with that against West Brom?
I just feel sorry for Van der Beek. I just feel like he wasn't an Ollie signing. I feel like Ollie just doesn't know where to play him at the moment. But I do hope he plays against West Brom. I think he'd be perfect for that game. It's very hard at the moment to think what Ollie is going to go with, because obviously all he swaps and changes. He's still trying to find his formation, and I think that's where the consistency comes in as well, where we're not being consistent because Ollie is not being consistent with what formation and what team he wants at the moment. So I do find it very, very hard at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And I think obviously international break, players hopefully getting a bit of a rest. Fingers crossed, like we've got a strong team. I'm pretty sure it's going to be out, so it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen there. Obviously, Tellez, I'm hoping, is back in the squad. But yeah, West Brom is going to be a tough one. But obviously, me and Emma did a show the other day, and we spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on our thoughts on him. We're very much still Ollie in, however we understand the criticism. I'm going to ask Meg the same question because we haven't spoken to Meg about it. But Meg, that win against Everton, is that good enough from Ollie? He always seems to pull a result out of the bag when he needs it most, but surely now it's got to come down to some consistency, and we need to have a run, don't we? We need to hit some form.
This is an open question, so to you, Per, and to anybody in the chat. Now, my belief is that if you are consistently good or you are consistently bad, that's down to the manager, because that's down to style of play, what they must do in training. If you are inconsistent in terms of results and performances, for me, I would put the blame on the players, because if you can pull it out the bag for certain games and therefore showcase what probably they have worked on, why are the players not doing that in every single game? Now, if we were consistently poor and the games were or the results coming in were lost, and we weren't doing it, like we were just getting nowhere about it, that's the style of play of the manager. That would come down to the manager. But for me, if you are starting to pull out some results and then dropping out on others, players need to take responsibility. I'm not saying that is 100% not Ollie's fault. I think at certain points it has been Ollie's fault, but I feel like it's being all shifted to Ollie, and I do feel like players need to come out and actually not come out and say it, because I don't think players should come out and be like, "Oh, it's all my fault." I don't feel like that. Your manager backs your players, and your players should back your manager. But there should be some shared responsibility going on, and I don't see enough of it to say. I see people either it's all Ollie's fault, and I just don't think that that's right. I don't know how you girls feel about that.
Yeah, I said the other day when I was talking to Emma, I said that for me, like the players have to take some responsibility. The same core of players have failed previous managers. I do think there's a mentality in there. I do think it's kind of a case where we have a new manager, we have the new manager bounce, as it's called. Players are performing, and then all of a sudden they get comfortable, and it's the same cycle that we have. And then obviously the manager becomes under pressure because it's Manchester United, it's a massive club. Don't get me wrong, I believe Ollie does deserve criticism. I believe tactically he's got it wrong. I believe that his changes have been made too late, but at the same time, I kind of feel for him because he's had not much choice from the bench. He hasn't really been backed. Yeah, he's made a few signings, but we all know he wanted Sancho, for example. We question whether Van der Beek is even an Ollie signing. So I don't know. I think Ollie's the front of it, and I do think he deserves criticism. But at the same time, I genuinely believe that the players deserve criticism as well. I think they need to take some responsibility. Ollie can only do so much at the end of the day. And a lot of times when we haven't beaten teams, people have blamed Ollie for their lineup and whatnot. But still, the players that are being put out on the pitch, when you look at it on paper, they shouldn't be losing, and they are. So I don't know. I do think there's a mentality thing there. I genuinely do. Emma, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I echo completely what you guys are saying. I don't think it's all on Ollie. I think, the players have some responsibility for how they're performing as well. Like Meg said, they're inconsistent, so that means that it's the players. 1 minute they are playing so good, 1 minute they're not. That's not down to solely Ollie. And I think it's unfair that all the Ollie outers are going in on Ollie. I do like you said, I do criticise certain things about Ollie. I've been very vocal about late substitutions, certain formations and players at times. Sometimes he has got it wrong. That game where Scott played the whole 90 minutes, I think it was calling out for Scott to be taken off. Scott was playing off the right and Fred was playing CDM, but Scott kept drifting back, and then we ended up with 2 CDMs. So it offered nothing going off the right. So those sort of games, Ollie needs to look at it and make the changes a lot sooner, because otherwise we're risking losing the game. So those certain things I criticise Ollie on, but I can't all blame it on Ollie. I'm Ollie in. I do think it is down to the players' mentality. I just hope that we come back from this international break and we're fit, we're hungry, we're going to climb that table, and we're not going to have many bad performances anymore.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? I think it's more about the consistency of performances, and I'm sure the results will follow that. But it's just been, we've had so many players just not turning up, too many players not turning up, and it's been more of a case of relying on individual brilliance, as it has been for a long, long time. Prince, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, I believe Pogba is the most gifted player in our team. True, he has been inconsistent, but that also comes down to the defensive system. We allow opposition teams to keep the ball and dictate. I completely agree with that. You don't see a high press from us. A few times we have seen that. PSG, I think we saw that where we were pressing high and it worked. We don't see that very often. I do think it's something we're working on, but I agree with. I do think Pogba is the most gifted player in the team. I think he's one of the most gifted players in the world. I genuinely believe that on his ability. But it's all good being technically gifted if you're not really in the game. If you're not, we want Paul Pogba to be controlling games. We've seen him control games, just not enough at United. So, look, I agree, and I think he's very gifted, and I do hope that he gets into the lineup and he proves us all wrong. But at this moment in time, currently, I just can't see where this is going for Paul Pogba, because he's not going to sit on the bench. It doesn't strike me as someone who's going to be there for a long time and fight for his place. I think he's more the type who'll go up and play football somewhere else. He's good enough to do that. So, yeah, I don't know where it's going to go from there. But, Meg, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that our defensive system, the fact that we don't press high, the fact that we let other teams have more of the ball, does that implicate Paul Pogba? Do you think that's a valid argument from Prince?
Sorry, I was still muted. Apologies. Like I said, I think we prefer to play on the counter. And I think to play on the counter, you've got to allow teams to almost come onto you to create the space behind. So our defensive system, if that's what we want to do, our defensive system has got to be that we allow the team to come forward more and have almost like a an engagement line that is in our own half so that we create that space. But look, Pogba, I'm still saying is one of the most talented footballers. I know I've seen so many people in the chat saying, sell him, cut your losses now, but he's so talented. How can you just let him go?
See, isn't it? Like, if you let him go, you just know for a fact, if he goes back to Italy, for example, is going to be an absolute world beater, and it's that risk, isn't it? We've done it so many times before. It's a horrible one, but yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying it in the chat as well. I'm going to throw this one to Emma first, but Cristiano Ronaldo, there's a lot of rumours. Obviously, he's been talking about Manchester United again this week, saying that he had a great time there. He owes a lot to the club. Some of his best years there, won a lot of trophies. All of a sudden, his link's coming back to United as he always is. Personally, I can't see it happening, but Emma, would you like Ronaldo? It sounds like a stupid question, that, doesn't it? Would you take Cristiano Ronaldo back at Manchester United?
Just get myself off mute. Oh my goodness. Yes, I would take Ronaldo. That is a stupid question, because who would not want Ronaldo back at Old Trafford? I don't care how old he is. I don't that's a massive stigma for everyone, like how old he is. But have you seen him? He's a machine. He's not like any normal footballer. He keeps himself in shape. He's absolutely outstanding. And I would welcome him with open arms. Can I see it happening? No, I cannot see it happening. I love the fact that Ronaldo is saying that he would love to come back at Old Trafford, though. That kind of gives you a little bit of hope that something could rumble. But will we get him? I know Ollie loves him. Ollie loves him as well. So, but will the board get him for Ollie? No, the board are incompetent. So I can't see it happening. But I would absolutely love it if that happened.
As would I. I'm just imagining back there. Just imagine that mad. But Marco Gianni, thank you so much for the super chat again. It says we lack pace at CDM and centre back to play a higher press. That probably is the case. I think at the start of the season as well, to be fair, I think we lacked a bit of fitness, and I do think that contributed to it. I think gradually you're seeing us get fitter as a team. But Meg, Cristiano Ronaldo, thoughts on those rumours?
Brandon is one of my friends from the chat and is an Arsenal fan. Now, let me tell you now, if we got Ronaldo, we had a conversation the other day about when Manchester United and Arsenal were playing, and we were saying about who would make your combined 11. And I did say that regrettably I'd put Aubameyang in. If we got Ronaldo, I would not be putting Aubameyang in. He'd be way better than Aubameyang. So I'm just going to put that out there for Brandon especially. But other than that, who wouldn't want Ronaldo? And I'm not, people who are in the chat now, I know your dad's in there as well, he's a Wolves fan. They've got to admit that they'd love to see Ronaldo back in the Premier League. There is no other team that he would go to, I don't think. I'm going to put my life on it that he would never go to another team in the Premier League but Manchester United. It would be amazing to have him back. He's just an incredible footballer. We're so lucky to have him in our generation. But yeah, I'd love to have him. He would finish. He's a striker. He'd get more goals than, well, then I would say he could be our top goal scorer if he came back, even at the age that he is now. He'd still be one of our top goal scorers, 100%.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. The age is that, but the condition he's in is just ridiculous. My dad actually, I'm going to say this there later, and my dad probably will be laughing at home, but my dad's got a little conspiracy that he thinks Ronaldo will end up at Wolves at some point because of Mendes being there and the Portuguese element. And I'm really saying from ages, no, Dad, it's just not going to happen. So, yeah, please do not happen. I hope he comes back. If he does come back to England, he comes back to Manchester United. That's what I want to see. Alex, thank you for the super chat. He says, do you agree with me that due to the fact fans are going in on Ollie due to some poor results, we're taking focus away from the real issues, which are the Glazers and Woodward, and giving them a free pass? Yeah, I do think a lot of it has been directed at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and like I said, I do think he deserves criticism, but also I think it's not fair to judge purely him, because we know for a fact that he wasn't back properly. We know for the fact that we don't know it, but we all believe that the players have got a mentality issue there as well. But Emma, what's your thoughts on that? On the fact that fans, obviously, a lot of fans have been going in on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A lot of them have been it's the reactionary side of it that I don't like. The fact that when we lose a game, it's Ollie out. When we win, it's Ollie in again. For me, you can't just fluctuate like that with your beliefs in your manager. Surely you have to stick with your manager until it gets to a certain point where you physically can't anymore.
Let me just unmute my mic. Oh,
You're off him.
I thought it was muted. I thought it was unmuted then. You unmuted it for me. No, I agree with you. I hate it at the moment that when we win games, the Ollie outers are so quiet. And then when we lose, it's Ollie out, don't want him, PE teacher. I think it's ridiculous. How are you meant to get behind your team? How are you meant to get behind your manager if as soon as we lose a game or have a poor performance, everyone's on Ollie's back saying you need to be sacked? Why are we sacking managers? I know that it's become like the modern day football where we don't have a long-term manager, and it's irritating. Like, I don't understand it. Why do we want to keep changing managers? Like Ollie said in his press conference a while ago that he's planted the seed and he wants the tree to grow. You can't rip the tree out before it's grown. So and I absolutely love that about Ollie. Like what he's saying is like you can't just sack him. He's still building, and it's going to be exactly the same if another manager comes in. Everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, new manager, something nice and shiny and new. And then in 18 months, it's going to be exactly the same situation, and we're going to be sat here with the new manager defending him because all the fans will be saying they want the new manager out. And I just feel like any manager that comes into Manchester United won't get any better than what Ollie's doing now.
Yeah, look, 15th is not good enough in the league. I'm not under any illusion that it is. And I'm not saying that the way we've been playing is good. However, obviously, we have to be reasonable about this. We see what kind of squad that Ollie came into. We see the fact that he didn't get the targets that he supposedly wanted in the summer. And you have to kind of understand that. But I'm hoping that this Everton game is going to be a good positive turnaround for us. We should be feeling positive after that, definitely. I'm going to ask you how you're feeling about the West Brom game. Obviously, a very local game to myself and Meg. But yeah, Meg, I'll start with you on that one. What's your score predictions for the West Brom game?
I feel like it's way too early to call. I need to make sure that the players get through the international break first before we start. Jumping on the West Brom game, it seems like it's ages away. Like the international break, that's 3 games. It's a massively important week for the players who are there, who have gone off, to ensure that they either get minutes and they stay fit and come back raring to go for Manchester United. I feel like it will be. I don't want to say it'll be a difficult game, but it's like an important game. When we came back from the last international break and we played Newcastle, we conceded within 4 minutes. I was literally sat with my head in my hands thinking, here we go again. And when we spoke about it, we were like, it was such an important game for us that we needed to we'd got like a run of 5 games, and I think we'd got the PSG game after it. And we were saying about whether Ollie should be here. And I was like, that Newcastle game, we need to just go out and win it. We need to get off on a good front foot. And I feel like this is exactly the same with this West Brom game. When you come back from the international break, it needs to be a solid performance, get the job done. I'm not saying that it needs to be like a flair 5-0 win. It's a get the job done and get yourself back in the Manchester United zone so that we can move forward again. But yeah, let's just get the players through the international break. I don't want to see any injuries, please.
Yeah, please no injuries. Fingers crossed on that one. Emma, what's your thoughts on it? Are you positive going into that West Brom game?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm feeling positive. Like Meg said, let's just get through the international break. Let's hope we don't get any injuries, because that's what my biggest worry is every time we have an international break, is our players getting injured. So hopefully none of our players get injured. We go back, and we just get the job done. Like Meg said, it doesn't have to be a 5-0. I reckon it's going to be 2-1. I do think it'll be a close game because I feel like it will be a tough game for us. Shaw is out, so I'm guessing Telles will be playing. He still needs that time to gel in the team. So I'm going to stick with 2-1. I don't know. We just need to go out, get the job done, and build on that confidence and climb that table.
Exactly, onwards and upwards. That Everton game is good.
So, can I just jump in? Sorry, Twisty Baba just put a comment saying, is every win just buying Ollie a bit of time? Every win for any manager buys him a bit of time. That's like every win for a manager gives you the next game for me. Whether you're playing badly or not, or whether the results before, if you get a win, that can change something. So I think saying, is every win buying Ollie a bit of time? I think that's across the whole board. Every win for any manager gives them a little bit more time. Just to throw in, sorry, the comment literally came up as Emma finished talking.
Unless you're Van Gaal and you win an FA Cup final and then end up getting sacked after it. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, I'm feeling positive going into the West Brom game. I don't think we'll absolutely batter them. I think we always struggle against teams like that, but I do think we're good enough going forwards to get the win. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What I will say is a massive thank you to Emma and to Meg for coming on as usual. Emma is so close. Is it 3K you're nearly on your channel now, That United Family? So please go and hit the subscribe button over there. Great content. Deserves way more subscribers. So go and hit that sub, please. But yeah, Meg, if you could start to let people know where they can find you as well.
Am I going first? Sorry, you're talking about Emma, so I was just reading the comments. I'm at Megan Cam with an underscore, and I'll be on here, and then let Emma say hers.
Yeah, and Emma, go, take it away. Talk to people about your channel.
Well, the comment is on the screen. Get me to 3K. I'm so close. Obviously, thanks to Sofa, like always having me on. But yeah, please, I need to get to 3K. So go subscribe to That United Family.
Yeah, go and hit the sub button. You will not regret it, definitely. Guys, please hit the sub and hairdryer treatment as well if you're new. I really appreciate it. I apologise for the sound issues tonight. I'm not sure what it is. We were working on it, but yeah, I don't know what it was. But apologies for that anyway. The show must go on, as I say. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. And if we have missed you in the chat, we do not do it on purpose. Please just drop a comment afterwards, and we all check the comments, and we'll definitely reply to you there. We are back on Friday. We've got Rick the Red on the show on Friday. Should be a great show. Obviously, Rick from United Stand should be an interesting one. And then next week, we've got a special guest on the show. I'm not going to reveal anything yet, but a big Manchester United fan, a big name. So, yeah, that should be a really interesting one. But, yeah, lots to look out for. Keep smiling, guys. Stay positive. We'll be back very, very soon.